What's going on, people? Good evening to you on Monday, the 6th of February 2023. We have some breaking news about Manchester City and breaking FFP rules. The Premier League have sent a statement out just a few hours ago. It broke on all major outlets on Sky News and all over the global press. If you ain't already heard, where have you been? You've been under a rock. But we are going to debate the news. We're going to debate why Man City have been charged. And I have to be careful with my jargon here because there's some legal terminology, but we will get into they've been charged. They've breached the rules of FFP. The Premier League has sent out a statement this morning. We're going to get into it and we're going to debate exactly what's going on. We've got a Man City fan coming on who's going to tell us all about it. And he's probably not looking forward to seeing a Spurs fan, but we have to debate this because it's breaking news. I'm going to get into all of that as well. But before we do, I must introduce you to our expert panel. We've got Gaurav, the Man United fan, who's been on all our episodes 1, 2, and 3. Gaurav, how are you, mate?
I'm good. I don't know. I might be actually under or over the blue moon, whatever the song is, but we're good.
I like that. Blue moon, hey? Blue moon, mate. Over the blue moon. Gaurav, welcome again, mate. Always here representing Man United. And if you haven't seen Gaurav before, you'll see him in all the other episodes that we've done over the last 3 Sundays. And he's normally here every Sunday at 9 o'clock if you want to catch him debating Man United and the rest of the Premier League. And also, in line with Gaurav, our resident Chelsea fan who's always here, episode 1, 2, and 3. VJ, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, good, Josh. Yeah, good to be on, actually. I think I'd like to listen to what the City fans have to say, and I can maybe share a little bit of insight on how you should be spending money and doing it the proper way.
That is big coming from a Chelsea fan. And we'll definitely be waiting for you. You two can go at it and no problem. Me and Jill will be watching with popcorn. But without wasting any further time, let's get on a City fan. I've been looking for a City fan for 3 weeks
we
now.
Found them. We
Thank
found
you
one
very
lurking.
much. We found one, and what a day to find a City fan. Like, it's all come together in one today. And respect to Ricky for coming on, showing his face, and hopefully backing his club. You know, he's going to back his club. He's going to back what Man City are doing and what they've done, and why all of this is just media noise and nothing's really going to happen. But we'll get him on now. Ricky, how are you, mate?
I'm very well, thanks very much. How are you?
Brilliant. Yeah, very good, mate. Very good, mate. This man had hair 24 hours ago. Since the news broke, it's all come off. He's heard about police deductions. He's heard about penalties. Go on, mate.
Basically trying to copy Pep Guardiola. That's the new trend. You know, the hairstyle. Yeah, the winning hairstyle.
Yeah, I think you need DJ's cap, man. I think you need to stay a little bit undercover.
Where's the rest of this audience? I was told this is quite a popular show. There's only 4 of us on here.
Yeah. So you have people listening in. It's live.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So Ricky, let's hear it from you. What's your thoughts on the allegations?
So basically, first of all, we're not guilty yet. I don't think we will be guilty. It's like, obviously we've been accused of something, but there's no evidence to back it up. So it's all come out in the press, but there's no reason to believe that it's all true just yet. So that's the position from Man City, and we've already also released a statement as well. To what's all this screen sharing?
Yeah, don't worry. We've got the facts here as well. So
right. I mean, we know all the facts, right?
We've got the charge sheet.
It's breaking news, isn't it? Of course, everyone's obviously heard about it, but there's no reasons to believe that it's true.
But there is obviously a body of evidence. You've been done by the CAS before, right? To the tune of 13 million. You negotiated at 10 million to pay it off. You know, this looks like it's not just 100 points Man City are going to get; it's the 100 breaches as well. You know, every season. So, like, where is it exactly, Ricky? That where do you think the facts lie, and where is the fabrication?
So I said to you on the chat earlier, I'll be the first one to shoot down and condemn my team if they're found guilty. But right now, I don't believe that they are guilty, and if they are guilty, I'll be the first to basically hate them, but I'm not going to stop supporting them because I've been a City fan for the last 38 years or so. And basically,
I'm going to clip that. That is comedy gold, man. Love it.
So basically, like, yeah, I can see on my screen there's a Chelsea fan, there's a United fan. I'll give you Josh, the Spurs fan, because Spurs were always shit, you know. But Chelsea and United, you know, like glory supporters.
Typical City fan, any typical City fan.
Glory supporters.
City's getting delusional.
Look at Chelsea, like, for example, they're spending money like £200 million on a player or £107 million on a player.
Yeah.
That surely is basically money that's not theirs, or it is theirs, but they're spending in a way that's probably like illegal. Like, I'm sure after City get investigated, and if it's not true, that'd be great. If it is true, I'm sure there'll be clubs like Chelsea and United being investigated in a similar fashion. You're not. So you're saying to me that you're a clean club. I don't think so.
So Vijay, do you want to respond on Chelsea, man?
Well, I was going to say, so you've gone from, you know, it's just an allegation, you know, I'm sure we'll be clear, to Chelsea going to get done next, right? So because they spent as much money, but yeah, it's interesting.
He just come in and spent all that money, and all of a sudden you've gone from a poor club to, you know, a successful club, just like City. We've been backed by finances, but if we're guilty, then I'm sure there's other clubs that are guilty as well. Look at Forest; they've come in and spent £200 million of money. That's all of a sudden they've got like 30 different players. How do you explain that? How do you explain that?
A lot of that is their backers as well. But I think just go back to one point, Ricky, right? This investigation's been going on for 5 years,
Yeah.
And they've accumulated like a chunk of evidence against City, and nobody else has been named, right? So far, no one said it's City, it's Chelsea, it's United, and it's Liverpool, right? So everything's pointing to City. You've got previous on this. So what is it that's sort of giving you hope that this isn't true?
Well, we're just not. You can't stand there right now and say we're cheats because it's not been proven. That's my basis. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that we're definitely not guilty. We could be guilty, but right now, as of the 6th of February at 9 p.m, we are not guilty because it's not been proven by whoever makes that final decision. So. That's what I can't stand. There's all of a sudden getting influx of messages from people that think they know about
me
football.
From 2:30, you know.
No. There's far more people that I know. I'm not United fans. I'm not worried about United fans or Liverpool fans, but there's all these other fans that come out the woodwork all of a sudden. This, that, the other. But as of today, we're still not being found guilty. Therefore, there's no reason to believe. And 2-3 years ago, the same thing happened. Everyone started criticizing. Yeah, like, you know, City are guilty, but we got through it and we proved that we are not guilty, and it got overturned by the Court of Arbitration. So
it's not going away, is it? Though, you know what I mean? It's not, you know, it's 4 or 5 years ago, and it's back, and it seems to be back like with a stack of evidence.
So what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Start supporting Chelsea then?
You can come and support Chelsea. I'm
a loyal.
Well, to be fair, you've been loyal for 3 years, so you know it's not going to take too much effort to move over.
And basically, it's not the players that have cheated; it's not the fans that have cheated. And if this is the case, if someone's cheated, then it's probably the board members. So it's nothing got to do with the fans. It's nothing got to do with the players. So any kind of criticism shouldn't be directed towards the fans or the players, which is another thing.
I think that's a fair point. I think that's a fair point. And you know, coming out of this spend where Chelsea spent, you know, 600 million, whatever, right? The fans, and you know, you're looking at the fans. The fans never said spend this kind of money. Yeah, of course you want it spent. So they're not. But at the end of the day, it's a club. You know, each one of us supports our club. Yeah. And you know, you take the good with the bad, don't you? And the rough with the smooth.
Yeah, exactly. We've had much more bad than smooth, so we're used to this. This is nothing. It's only been like I'm 40 years old now. It's only been 9 years of success. The rest of the years have been all, you know, Division 2 football. So
how long have you been supporting them, Ricky?
Since the age of 3. I'm 40 now. So the last 37 years.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Probably longer than how much you. How long you supported Spurs?
I've been supporting Spurs for about 6 lives now, mate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I still haven't won it.
Yeah. I'm on my 7th life, mate. Hopefully the lucky one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, let's get back to facts, lads. Let's get back to facts. On the screen, we can see here, right, it's saying that the Premier League has basically charged them for failing to provide accurate financial information of a sponsorship revenue and not disclosing a manager's true salary. Now, obviously, Ricky's saying we're innocent until proven guilty. And you can see Pep there stroking his bald head on the right there, probably agreeing with him. And the Premier League judicial panel will now be asked with appointing the members of the commission to look into City's alleged rule breaches. This could go on for a couple of years. We could be here talking about this for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So it is only a claim, isn't it? It's an accusation. There's no proof to say it's 100% correct. So yeah, just to set the record straight on that. We're not saying anyone's guilty at the moment. It's just it's just an accusation. But can I just say one thing? City have City have been really successful for the last how many years now, how many leagues you've won. As a City fan, before the Sheikh came in and obviously you got all the success, where was City in the league, Ricky? Just take us back to those years. Because I'll be honest with you, mate, I've only been following City properly over this era where you've had the money. Before that, I think we had you in the FA Cup.
Does it really matter? Why don't we focus on this season? I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're like the champions right now, and where we came from.
Let's go back. Let's go back to 2008 because the Sheikh came in 2009, right?
Yeah, but we were rich before that as well. We had Thaksin Shinawatra, the Thai.
So just for anyone that doesn't know, where were you in the league before they took over?
Yeah. So we were obviously not at the top. Just like Newcastle, just like Chelsea. Yeah, we were not at the top. We were almost a low league side, almost in relegation zone. But we got taken over by Thaksin Shinawatra. We were under his kind of control for like 2-3 years, and then he decided to sell us on to the Sheikhs. And we ended up being 4th, 5th club, in terms of position, and ended up winning the title. So everyone, it's not rocket science. Obviously, if you invest in something, it's going to grow and end up taking. What I would like to discuss, and it's not my show. I'm not trying to hijack it in any way.
It's all our shows, man.
I think what would be more interesting to discuss is who's going to win the title this season. Things that are actually.
We'll bring you on our Sunday show, Ricky. We'll bring you on our Sunday show
for that. Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that people have that much time. I thought it's like
we make
3 hours, mate, every Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 3 hours every Sunday. So tell us about this UEFA rule, this UEFA FFP thing that you guys had in 2020. You had a ban, and then you got it overturned in the courts, didn't you?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and then you got fined 30 million instead of whatever the other original charge was. The original penalty was a lot higher. You guys paid 30 million, and that was the end of that. And the ban was
paid 10, wasn't it? Was 10? It was 10.
They paid 10.
Yeah, it was 10. That's it. It was a lot less.
Again, like this stuff has already been done and dusted. So I don't know why we're looking to cover off something.
Why did City have to pay 10 if they were clean and there was no breach? Why pay the 10 million? What was that for?
I mean, again, I'm not part of. I don't really work for the club. I don't really know all that detail. I don't really care about all that detail. All I know is that we basically got over that and we were not guilty. I'm putting my hands up.
No, you were guilty. No, hold on. You were guilty. That's why you actually got done on it.
It was an appeal on the
plea.
Yeah.
The problem here is that the Premier League rules are different to the UEFA ones. Premier League has no time bar on it. Therefore, they will investigate all 9 seasons of the breaches, not just the 5 that UEFA investigated. So that's fundamentally the issue here. The problem that we've got is that you've got sort of the acceptance that something's gone wrong, and you're right. Nobody else has been investigated on the same sort of thing, like naming stadium rights or on what managers' remuneration is, and how it's paid out, especially in the sort of sort of billionaires era. I think you've got to sort of wait for the result, but at some point, there are sort of stars aligning to say that City are guilty here, right? That they wouldn't have done a 5-year investigation not to come up with something, even if it's minor breaches by what you say. Because if you look at the sanctions, you could be expelled from the Premier League. That's
unlikely to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
and if we do find guilty, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop supporting Man City. It doesn't mean.
Of course not. It's not about you. We're talking from a club perspective, right?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that other clubs will be investigated. If it materializes that this club has been found guilty, I am sure that there will be other clubs like Chelsea, like Man United, like Newcastle, like AC Milan being investigated, because again, there can't just be 2 teams in the world like Juventus, and if Man City are the case, 2 teams that have done this and been found guilty. I'm sure
PSG is another one you can throw in the mix as well, right?
Well, PSG and the other, but the thing with City, that I mean, the way they got found out was they got hacked, right? I mean, this information was stolen effectively. It's not like it's not like somebody sat down and went through the accounts and thought, oh right, yeah, you're absolutely screwed up here. You were caught. So the other clubs like PSG, Chelsea, are the ones that United that you mentioned. You just wonder how much they're going to give away. If for that matter, if we just assume for 30 seconds they're all playing this dirty game,
Yeah, but I'm sure like there's a way of finding out. Like they'll go in and investigate the books and everything. Because to me it just feels like teams like Chelsea coming in, and I agree, Man City were the same. Like 4 or 5 years ago, we ended up spending £30 million. That was the biggest spend. But now like £107 million coming in. Surely, if you're saying that City are not fair, they're not playing by the rule book. How is a rich owner in Todd Bowley coming in spending £600 million in 2 years? That's disadvantaging teams like Burnley and all these smaller teams. How are they going to survive? So
well, I mean the FFP, without getting into too much detail, it's designed so that clubs live within their means, right? I mean, Chelsea won the Champions League. That's 120 million quid there straight. Right, so there is revenue coming in. It's not like, I mean, I'm not trying to be cheeky, but City haven't won the Champions League. They should have won it the last time we played you in it. So there is revenue coming into the club. That's for sure.
There's articles already here saying Chelsea's 600 million spend. Could see them, being named as a team next season to be investigated. So there's definitely reasons to believe that other clubs should be investigated. I know we're not talking about Spurs here because they're a bit of a smaller club, and their time will come. Don't worry, Josh. Your time will come whenever you get rid of. Harry
It's
Kane.
Therapy. Let it out, bro. It's therapy, man. It's therapy, man. It's fine, man. It's no love, man. I want this for you, baby.
Good. You know what? I've been through much worse. I've gone to Gillingham away, Division 2 on the coach, and we ended up losing 3-0 as an away fan coming back home. So the fact that we won for the last 5 years with the top club, whatever happens from this point on, I'm used to it. So this is nothing. As a fan, basically, I'm clean. It's not my fault if it is true. If it's not the player's fault. If it is someone's fault, it's the investors or the board directors.
It's the board.
So therefore, basically, fans shouldn't look at City fans and start saying, "Oh, I hate you," because it's nothing got to do with City. It's like terrorism. We know that there's a lot of terrorists out there in Afghanistan, but we don't point to all Muslims and say you're a terrorist. It's the same kind of thing. It's like religion, isn't it? City or football fans, it's their religion. Football's my religion, and since I've been young, I've never wanted to support Liverpool or United and be a Glory supporter.
It's not about being a Glory supporter. We've got culture and heritage behind what we support, and I think sometimes it can be disrespectful to other supporters, especially Liverpool supporters who you actually beat by 1 point to win the league, right? So you can actually turn around and they can make a really strong claim to say in that season alone you cost them the title. And you cost United 3 titles in that 9 seasons, right?
Yeah.
So
but these teams are not being investigated. They could have done the same thing, like United.
They could have, but they may not have. But
they could have. There's no could have or not. There's no.
We're happy to open the books. I don't think anyone in the Premier League is saying don't open the books on the rest of the clubs. But the allegations aren't against the rest of the clubs yet.
But the thing is, as VJ said, this didn't come about by opening the books. It was through hackers, and now those hackers, it's going to be hard to hack other clubs. So we'll never know if United have cheated or not, or Chelsea have cheated or not. So that's an argument that you can talk about as well.
Yeah, but I think there's ways and means of looking into those things, right? There's things like Mariba injunctions. You can look at bank statements. You can look at transactions. You can look at Bitcoin. You can look at so much.
Yeah, but if that was the case, why didn't they find that through straight away from City? Why did it take a hacker to find that out?
But that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about 100 rule breaks. Yeah. It's not like it was. I was reading earlier on that Mancini's contract was basically understated. So he was contracted a certain amount, and he was being paid more than that. And this is the way that they've done basically. To basically spend beyond their means.
None of it's been, as I said, I keep going back to the default, which is, until that day when it comes out on the website that is true or not true. That's when I'll think, hang on a second, we've cheated. But it won't mean that I stop supporting my club because it's my religion. But it'll just mean that whatever we've done, we deserve the punishment, which is fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think what VJ's saying is, is with merit. Yeah, because at the end of the day, if that rule breach has taken place for whatever reason, one of them is not actually supplying the right information to the Premier League. Yeah, so you've got 25 breaches of not giving the correct information. That's got nothing to do with the hacker or the emails. That's actually the club not providing the information in the format. If you were working on the HMRC stuff and you didn't fill in your tax return, I guarantee you, like literally the next month, you're going to get a fine to say that you haven't filled it incorrectly. So these are massive operations.
But there's nothing that you or anyone on this call can do, because we don't know if it's right or wrong right now. You can't sit there and say this definitely happened. This definitely happened.
Yeah,
and the manager. These are all allegations. There's an allegation. Allegations can always be. There's been instances where people have been accused of murder, and really they were not the murderer. So until you hear that verdict,
the thing is, Ricky, would the Premier League go through all this fuss and all this credibility they'd lose over no evidence? Do you think that they have zero evidence, or do you think they have something?
Well, I'm sure there's something there. I'm sure there is definitely something there. Whether it's like the fact that we'll end up getting relegated or points deduction, I don't know. I don't know how serious it is, but it's obviously there's something there because it's come about twice now. But at the same time,
no smoke for that fire.
But at the same time, there's no smoke with that fire with other clubs. They're spending like money left, right, and centre.
I think City's at the top of the pyramid. So you start with the drug importer, and then you work on the little runners and on the road afterwards. You take out the first layer.
But as long as you deal with the other layers, because it's unfair to just punish one club.
I think he'll set a precedent. If they get this right, Newcastle, whichever club you want to bring into, whichever new clubs, Liverpool being sold, Man City, Manchester United being sold, everyone's gonna maybe the value of clubs will drop because there's very little you can now put into them to get back out of them so quickly. You can't flip a club. And Man City, would you argue? The value of Man City has gone up extortionately because of the investment, and it is an investment because money came in, and they necessarily didn't want to take the money out because they're still here pumping money in. And I don't know the P&L of Man City, but I don't know how much debt you're in, but I'm sure.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. The damage has been done today. The damage has been done because Guardiola is not going to stick around. Like, even if we are not guilty, this is too much distraction. We're not going to win the title this season as a result of this.
Yeah. How does it affect the PR? Because you know what? People look at Man United as an institution, whichever way you look at it. If you're Liverpool, everywhere, people look at Chelsea with a bit of bitterness because of Roman and a bit of bitterness at the moment because of Todd Bowley. You look at clubs like Spurs, they're old traditional clubs, have been there a long time, won trophies, whatever, 7th highest trophies in the league. Still something shy about. Everton are 8th, Aston Villa are there as well. You look at Man City, mate, I'm being honest. My mind goes clear. My mind's clear. I don't have any memory of Man City winning anything before 2009.
After today, we're going to be a hated club, which is fine because I'm not going to hate my club, but our PR after today has tanked. And if I'm being honest, I didn't see today coming. Like, it was a surprise. Yeah. It's basically ruined my day, if I'm being honest, because I'm a through and through City fan. G knows, but I've been supporting City since the age of 3. I've got all the kits. I've been bullied at school, but I've stuck by them. And when we got taken over by a rich club, I thought as if I've won the lottery, but I still have won the lottery because I still supported a club. That's, to me, is the best.
Is there a tinge in you? And be really honest, because I feel like you're on an honest vibe at the moment. We've broken you down a bit, and we've got you chilled out a bit now. It's been 15 minutes, so now I'm going to ask you a really sensitive question, and I hope you're going to give me the right answer, or actually not the right answer, the honest answer. It doesn't have to be the honest.
I'm an honest guy.
Absolutely, mate. Do you feel that all the success you've had is a bit fake?
If we're found guilty, yes, I think they should knock down Aguero's statue. I think they should, it's because obviously, if that's the case, we have cheated our way to winning the title. If I was a Liverpool fan, and if I was sat here right now, and if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be pissed off.
Sultan is pissed off. Just so we're clear.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's pissed off. But on the opposing side, if you're defending yourself as a case, it's not been officially found that we're guilty, so we're holding on to that belief that we're not guilty. And you can bring all these articles.
Exactly.
You're looking at the Daily Mail as well, which is a shit newspaper, so it's fine.
You're not guilty, and it's a bit like the whole Mason Greenwood thing, right? We all know he's guilty. We all know he's done it. but he's walking the streets as if he's not. He's tired, isn't he? His PR is down the pan. He comes and plays for United again. I don't know if he will or not. You know, he's going to get pelters, and I just feel that even if City are cleared, which is a possibility, absolutely a possibility. I think a fair bit of damage has been done, isn't it? Because it hasn't gone away. Yeah,
massive damage. Like you look at Haaland. If I was Haaland right now, I'd be thinking to myself, do I want to be stuck in a club that's got a bad name now? Guardiola's not going to renew at the end of the season. I just know it. And I personally think this news has come about over the last 2 weeks, and internally, like you can just see the mood of the club has significantly changed. I don't know if I know they keep saying on the day when they break the news, it goes directly on the Premiership website, and that's how it gets found. But I don't know. Like I'm sure they were, because obviously City have been in discussion. You know, I'm sure the Premier League have been talking to Man City about this, and you can just tell of the last 3 weeks something hasn't been right internally, and it probably just.
So you feel that there was like an embargo on City, so they already knew that this was going to come out in the next 24 hours or 48 hours. They were
I'm sure. Like because it's like any organisation that's accused of something, and the lawyers would inform them. I'm sure there's like a legal right to do that. You know, you can't. I'm sure that is the case.
And there is a point here, isn't there, Josh? Like the press needs to be a little bit more mindful of what it's publishing, because actually, if it is an allegation, and yes, sensationalism kind of works really well in the press, right? You know, Man City, 100 breaches, etc., etc. The reality is that, you know, it might not be anywhere near that sort of magnitude, and you know, they have probably done some stuff which they can't actually turn around and justify, because they've gone through CAS, right? And CAS is the highest court in the land. And,
I'll just be honest. Like, if it's a fucking shit. Sorry about my language, but it's a shit feeling to be in today. Like, it's the worst. It's probably the worst day. Like from us scoring that last minute Aguero goal to today. But as a City fan, because I'm through and through City, and I'm an honest believer in my club, I just hope to God that this is not true. But if it is true, it doesn't mean that I'll hate my club. I'll still support them. But
listen,
rightfully,
you've got to back your club.
They should...
You've got to back your club, win, lose or draw. There's one key bit of thing I need to mention, guys, because this is really important. So when UEFA banned you guys, or sorry, tried to ban you guys, they have a window of just 5 years where they can go back to present evidence. That's the UEFA rule. The Premier League can go back as many years as they want. Now, one of the key reasons that the appeal was, you know, that the reason your thing was watered down, because they stopped at that 5-year limit. What the Premier League have done this time is they've gone all the way back to 2009, and they've taken them 4 or 5 years to build this up. It's not happened over the last few months, and they've got the whole 2009 to 2018 or whatever that 9-10 year window is. They've got enough now, so they're saying we've done our due diligence, we've done everything we had to do. We're going to look absolute idiots if we get it wrong again. UEFA can only go 5 years back. The Premier League can go as many years back as they want. And that is very key, because that's why the Premier League's come again. You don't knock on the same door twice if it hasn't opened in the first place. So this is the differential here, guys, in this particular Premier League. Premier League's a different ball game to UEFA in that sense. So that's the
exactly. But what my argument is just two. So I'm it's the fact that we're not guilty. That's one argument. But the second thing is, if we are guilty, like the UEFA Premiership, they can't just sit there and say that's it, we've done our job. They need to then start investigating other clubs, because we can't sit here and say that every other club is completely fine without there being an investigation. There needs to be an investigation.
But how do we not know they have been investigating Roman, because he came a lot later after Sheikh? How do we not know that they haven't been investigating the Newcastle, because they've learnt from City? And how do we know that City isn't the one that got away and the rest are okay, because I have got an eye on them? I'm just thinking those guys came a lot later than Sheikh Mansour. Sheikh Mansour was the first one that came in. I mean, you can argue the Blackburn case, but that was a very small version of what the Sheikh's done. That's a very small version. So I wonder if this is the one that was the one that sort of set them on their tracks to say, right, we need to be better at this. And City were just first at it, just like Chelsea are first at this new way of finding loopholes around FFP, spending 600 million in 12 months, which just sounds crazy.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, not just because you're on the call, but I think Chelsea, VJ, I think there will be some sort of investigation into this. I think.
You say that like it's going to somehow sweeten the thing. I mean, we were banned for signing minors, for 29 breaches back a few years ago, and we had a 2-window ban with sort of, a few £100,000 fine. And I look at that and I think, yeah, we were wrong. We wish that's clearly a wrongdoing. And I look at a two. We can see you, not your screen.
All right, I was trying to share my screen, but maybe it's
but this is what I mean. So we see, Chelsea were banned for 2 windows. That had a big effect on us. We weren't able to spend, and then on the next window we went and absolutely spent a fortune. But a lot of people forget for those 2 windows we didn't spend anything.
Yeah, so we haven't discussed the fact that Chelsea were banned. So come on, we've discussed City being banned and all this stuff that's happened today. Now let's go back to Chelsea. They've been banned and they've been.
Yeah, but you have to. They were banned for signing minors, not for exaggerating finances.
It's like stealing an Apple or stealing a PlayStation. It's the same thing. You're still stealing. I'm not saying City.
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, it meant that you guys can go and get a Haaland or a Grealish. We were banned for signing minors who weren't first-team players; they were academy players, loanees, and things like that.
Why were you banned again? What was the reason why?
For signing minors.
Underage players.
Yeah, underage players. Yeah.
What are you showing?
Pre-signing them.
Are these your sponsors?
Pre-signing.
Yes, these are Man City's global. This is where the commercial income, the commercial sponsorship.
I didn't realise today's session was all on Man City. By the way, this is really.
This is a special edition.
This is a special edition. Yeah, we usually save it for Sundays.
Because in a couple of years' time,
you're doing well, mate. You're doing well, man.
If we found get guilty, we won't be featuring even in any newspapers. So
listen, if they're innocent, if Ricky's club is innocent, Man City, we all owe him a favour. I don't know.
No, we'll come back on and we'll get an apology tribute version.
It'll be an online.
Absolutely.
And you know what?
If you're guilty, this goes viral.
I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I'm a dad of 2 twin babies, and I've got a son who's 4, and we're basically about to embark on a night of maybe 2-3 hours sleep. But I thought I'll come on here to basically just wear my heart on my sleeve and just to say and put the record straight.
Love for that.
That basically, I'm a Man City fan. There's nothing got to do with me, and up until we're found guilty, there's nothing can be said. But if we do get found guilty, we should get stripped of all of our titles between 2009 to 2018 only, because that's a cheating period if that's true. But anything going forwards, like players that have been bought, etc., that's a new slate. But yeah, I just basically wanted to come on here just to kind of settle the kind of. Because I know on the WhatsApp I got a bit carried away, because I've had a bit of I was a bit angry, but yeah, I've got over it, and I think City will learn from this. If anything, other clubs will hopefully learn from this as well, if it is true.
Yeah,
I think that's true. Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only fair. Look, you look at you look at the Evertons, you look at clubs that have been winning. I'm talking back in the 60s, 50s, 70s, 80s. 90s even, right? These clubs were winning, and you could put Newcastle in there as well. Until recently, they were winning the right way. There's winning the right way, which is through building your club, through the youth system, through scouting, through expanding, all the right things you do in business, how you grow a business. That's how you grow a football club, by doing the right things. The problem with City is they came from nowhere. If they were a top 4 club, you would have gone, okay, we're used to seeing you up there.
In 1968, we won the title.
Exactly.
We've won, and so look at Newcastle. They've come from nowhere, and all of a sudden they're like.
But what I mean is, you had United, you had United doing it, you had Arsenal doing it in 2010, and City just turned up out of nowhere. Like there was nobody expecting Manchester City just to come up.
It's a bit like Leicester City. Look at Leicester City. They've got quite rich investors. They ended up winning the league.
Yeah, that's not one-off season under Ranieri. Yeah. So no, fair enough.
Yeah, but they've got heavy investors as well in the club.
Josh, have you got Sultan, the Liverpool fan, in the back end?
Yeah, I can see someone crawling around. Is that a Liverpool fan?
Here we go.
Here
we go.
You hang on, You hang on,
mate. This is our lucky day, man. Liverpool fan coming on, City fan coming on. God, this is brilliant. There we go.
This is AJ versus Tyson Fury stuff.
Has he got his camera on and his Liverpool shirt on? Or
he'll get his camera on.
I can see a sofa and someone's head just...
He's not allowed to join if he doesn't turn his camera on.
Gee, I'll let you introduce him.
He needs to fire the bullets correctly, not just put that behind a blank screen. Here he
There you
is.
go.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hi, mate.
Just keep him muted throughout the whole session. It's fine.
You good, Sultan?
Right,
Reading
whilst he's doing that, let's get on.
Ricky, what's the sponsors? You put this slide up. What are we seeing here? Or
This
we were
slide
seeing
here?
there.
I was
Yeah,
just
there's
showing
the
you something about
sponsors.
Chelsea. That wasn't
You all right,
me. That
Sultan?
was.
Nice, Man City's
If
sponsors.
I present my screen here, I'm just waiting to hear from Sultan's comments about Liverpool and stuff. I'm looking forward to this. Can you see my screen, by the way?
No, you can't share it,
All
man.
right.
You can WhatsApp it to G, and then I'll put it on.
Okay.
What I'm seeing, Sammy. I'm seeing global partners up on screen. Is that you, Josh?
That's me. I've just put.
Oh, okay.
So my question really is obviously these guys a bit like we've seen it with players sponsorships pulling back when a player's done something naughty, or whether it's Ronaldo, Greenwood, whoever, players doing things. If a club's a bit naughty, do you think that some of these sponsors in the next few weeks, months will pull out, or do you think they'll be on Ricky's opinion that we're innocent until proven guilty? That's really a question I had, because that's where the money's coming from.
Well, I mean, I don't know who that question's directed to, but I can tell you directly.
As a Chelsea fan, you know all about that, don't you, Viva?
Well, exactly. So with all the Ukraine thing, I mean, 3 started to pull out, right? And we didn't have enough money to take the sponsor off the flipping shirt. There was Hyundai that wanted to pull out, and all of the sponsors started to detach themselves from the club. Nothing had happened at that point other than we had been sanctioned. So I agree. I think some of these might be thinking about detaching themselves from the club, not permanently.
Why is 3 still with Chelsea? Why is 3 still with Chelsea then? What's the reason why they're still with?
Well, the agreement it's at the end. The sponsorship deal ends at the end of the season. But obviously, when we were bought out by Todd, everything was all right again, right? It was Roman that was the problem. So it's clean finances now compared to the old one. So that's why they're still there. But next season it will all change.
So let's hear it, man. Let's hear.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, just listening. Basically, from what I heard, listen to another stream. Man City stopped cooperating in 2018 with the authorities. So who knows what they've been doing since? So it's crazy. I mean, on the one hand, they want it on the pitch. The fans pay for it, not the players' fault. Will they be stripped of the titles? Probably not. They'll probably get a slap on the wrist, big fine, potential points deduction going into next season. The only reason why UEFA never went after them properly or stopped doing so because of the 5-year limit. Otherwise, they are guilty as charged. They're dirty and cooking the books. I mean, you could say, right, Ole won a title.
I'm going to download some sound effects. You keep going, mate. You keep going.
You could say since Fergie's era, United have won the title 3 times, including Ole in 2021 season. I mean, Liverpool we're shit right now, right? So given, but
you should have come
in the last 4 years, it's been unprecedented, getting to 97 points and not winning and missing the title last season by 15 minutes, right? In that last game, and by
last
1
United
point
by a second the few seasons before.
Well, yeah, that Aguero moment might be wiped out. Who knows? But
we're talking about a statue being knocked down.
Well, Rodgers could have won it at Liverpool. He could have ended it after 23 years.
Well, yeah, other than that slip up. But yeah, 10 years, 100 breaches that they know about. That's just insane. And then what's scary is if the Saudis take over United, which is a possibility, and the Qataris take over Liverpool, and there is strong interest from QIA, not QSI, who are managing PSG. What are they going to do? Right, we've seen they hosted a good World Cup, but obviously they paid a lot of backhanders to get it. So these Arabs, they do what they need to do to win, basically. And a Man City case, everyone knows they're guilty, right? Everyone knows they're guilty.
Apart from Ricky, he doesn't agree.
Well, right now, I think, look, right now we're not proven guilty. I know there's obviously if it's come back twice, there must be something there. Yeah, there definitely must be something there. But You mentioned the World Cup, yeah. So the Qatari World Cup, that's another fake as well. So these things happen in sport all the time. Like the World Cup is a fake. Like the fact that Qatar won the World Cup, there must have been, and we know there is. Like they bought the World Cup. So the fact that these things happen all the time is this not new. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
But if some of these 100 allegations prove to be true, what Pep said in 2020, I believe, he said if some of these are proven true in the future, he'll walk. So let's see.
Yeah, I agree. I would walk if I was.
I think he will walk.
He will walk. Yeah, you can see he's getting regardless of.
But then on the one hand, we can say, yeah, no, not strip the title because they won it on the pitch and the fans paid, blah blah. But the financial doping, man, they cooked the books of sponsorship. They said like Mancini was on double the salary he officially was on, right?
Yeah.
That financial doping helped get Man City where they are today. Today, they're the highest revenue in terms of commercial intake in the world, beating Real Madrid, Man United, Bayern Munich, Liverpool. How's that even possible?
You must be absolutely pissed off, mate, because to do all of this, right, win all these titles and do everything, to then at the end of it, people just laugh in your face.
Well,
I mean, they've basically done this the wrong way if they get found guilty. Because how stupid are they, man? It's like if you're going to do something like this, do it properly. Get the best lawyers in town. You know how it is. You do it.
They will get their
lawyers and buy a proper firewall, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's mad too because you guys were talking about Liverpool's net spend last night, 25 million a season. I swear, Klopp, right, in the last forget about this season, last few seasons, 4 seasons, he's a miracle worker. He's got Liverpool to the FSG bought Liverpool 11 years ago for 300 million, right, from Hicks and Gillette. Today they're worth between 3.5 to 4 billion. And a lot of it is down to Klopp. Now, you can question, yes, FSG's lack of investment. You can definitely question the management, including Klopp. What's Pep Lijnders doing, releasing a book before the start of the season? Now, they're now talking about the goalkeeping coach coming out with a new book. That's just insane. I mean, the thing about Mane Mane wanted to go. So you can't keep someone, after 6 years, he wanted a new challenge. You got to let him go. 30 million was a snip, right? Nunes was bought in because Mane wasn't doing it on the left-hand side. So Luis Diaz was bought in January. He got the left-hand side. They wanted to go for a striker because Firmino couldn't hit a barn door. So that's why Nunes was bought in. The money was there for the midfielder, is there. Tchouaméni was the number 1 target. He chose Real Madrid. You can't do anything about that. Now, Bellingham wasn't available in the summer, so they thought Klopp's thing is around about, if I don't get my plan A, target A, they ain't going to go after anyone else. Proof in point is Virgil van Dijk. 5 years ago, when we went after the summer, they got caught, that Blackpool meeting, and then they put a statement out saying, we're no longer interested in Virgil van Dijk, we apologize, blah, blah. 1st of January, what do? 75 million. Virgil van Dijk. So, I mean, I think the situation's changed out with FSG where they're running it on, what they're running it on, basically buy to sell effectively. Yes, they've invested in the stadium, the training pitch, the commercial revenues. They've done a lot of good stuff, but other things like the Super League.
Man U now, haven't you? You're 3rd in commercial revenue, I think.
Yeah, I mean the Champions League runs have helped, but they now realise to compete, I would say, with Man City or the Chelsea, the Newcastles, they're going to have to do something different because...
But isn't that the problem? That is the problem in football. What you just said in them last 10 seconds, to compete with Man City. And that is not competition, my friend. That's corruption.
You talk about corruption. Okay, let's bring this. Okay, so like Chelsea, they were funded by Roman Abramovich, who basically was an avid supporter of Putin, who's basically killed many people in this world already, including children. Yeah. Now, let's look at Chelsea. Yeah. So Chelsea have been funded by Roman Abramovich, who's been supported by Putin, who's killed many people in this world, and Chelsea have won many trophies and titles. This is a question out to you now. Do you think that the titles that Chelsea won over that period when Roman was in charge should be stripped of Chelsea? If City are being dealt with,
that's a moral issue, isn't it? I mean, you're confusing moral. But you're confusing a moral issue over what is rules and regulation.
But
isn't
also,
it?
Roman's money was dirty money as well. It was dirty money, so it was politically dirty. He's a politically dirty man, and also he was in the wrong financially.
Ricky, the thing is, I don't think the question is what's happened to the clubs being bought by rich owners. The question is you're reporting and adhering to the rules of the Premier League and UEFA and trying to basically put things under the table and not show the exact numbers. A little bit like what Juventus have been up to by the looks of it as well. I think that's
recently.
Yeah, but your other question is very correct. There's two questions on there. One is, have Man City just been naughty with their books? You know, that's what it is. You know, the tax man's coming for you. You haven't reported everything. That's what this topic's about, right? Is you being naughty in putting all your papers on the table clearly, and you've tried to inflate one thing, deflate the other thing, and get around FFP. A bit like what Juventus are doing, like I said. The other question you've just put on the table is more about football generally, which is why should someone just come in and change the game overnight? And that's a very valid question. But what I just want to separate the two, and we can talk about both of them because they don't mix in the way that maybe people watching this might look at and go, "What's he on about? Why is he involving Chelsea in this conversation?" Chelsea might have done all their due diligence correctly, and their Putin issue is a different, more political issue with obviously Abramovich being linked to Putin. Your issue is more about City have basically not done their books correctly. This is the way I read this, you know.
Yeah, but we are seeing this come about in terms of other clubs like Chelsea. That there's reports you can bring up on your, because I can't share my screen. Chelsea are being investigated for FFP. If you type in Google Chelsea FFP, there's articles from yesterday showing this. So it's just not just City being accused of this.
Yeah, but also just look at Newcastle. Newcastle were taken over by the Saudi consortium, right? Now, Saudi, everybody knows what's going on from a moral perspective, what's going on in that country. Now, no one's turning around and having a real go at Newcastle about it. Just because they put it through a holding company.
Of course they are. Of course they are. There's so many fans out there saying Saudi Arabia don't believe in treating women correctly and stuff, so we don't like Newcastle. Gary Neville said it. Gary Neville's brought it up though. There's many pundits out there that are against the Saudi owners because simply due to the fact that they don't believe in gay and lesbian rights. They treat women like shit. These kind of countries.
Those same pundits who were taking money when they went to Qatar to do the broadcasting.
Exactly right.
Do you know what this Qatar thing about gay? It's the cult. It's a Muslim country. If you don't like it, they don't come preaching to us. Do you know what I mean?
There's a cultural difference, guys. Let's not get political and religious on this piece, right? Let's just.
We'll do that on another show, man. For sure, we'll do that on another show.
We can do, and people can.
But basically, for this show, it's fine. Yeah, but what do you? This is all in the press today. It's fine. We're being investigated. Fine, and Man City are welcoming the investigation, which is all fine.
But I think they've not responded, from what I heard.
Yeah,
they have.
They're surprised. But sorry, just on that Chelsea point, Ricky. So when they got bought for $2.5 billion plus the 1.5 they're going to invest it, they wiped out Chelsea's debt. There was a season where they were banned for making transfers, right? So actually they're quite clever. So they're debt free. The contracts like Mudryk is over 8 years. Now UEFA are closing that loophole in the summer down to 5. So Bowley's going to spend it like mad because technically he's within the rules and they haven't finished yet. They're saying in the summer they're going to go out and do even more. So they are building for the future and they are going to be serious players, in the next couple of seasons for the title.
But I think even Sultan, to your point as well, right? Chelsea, I mentioned this before you come on, we did win the Champions League very recently, right? As well as Liverpool have. So there are a huge amount of funds coming into the club. In that respect as well. So you're absolutely right. I do agree with that. Sorry, I've jumped in.
No, it's good. I think Josh is showing the screen share that Chelsea are going to investigate it for next season in terms of the 600 million. And fair enough, right? If you've got nothing to hide, there's no issue. But these numbers are going to lead to a lot of people going, what the heck? And I think, Josh, you make a really good point, right? So from 1970s or whatever, where Spurs won stuff, you've been trying to build it properly in the background, and it's taken a long time of Levy sort of transactions here, there, and everywhere, plus $1 billion stadium that you've needed to pay for. And there is an element of, you know, you've earned your right on compounded growth to challenge and to win. And I think this is the bit that people are kind of going, right, this has been turbocharged. Well, if it's been turbocharged, as Sultan said, you know, it's almost like doping in a race.
You know what it is,
You know?
right? If you look at the model of football and you look at it like a commercial model, just football, I'm not talking about clubs at the moment. The idea of football is to raise advertising money, shirt sales. It's a brand. A football club is a brand, and it lives within an industry called football, which is growing massively at the moment. And the Premier League has outdone all the other football industries, whether it's Spain, whether it's, you know, ever Italy, Germany. Now, the thing is, when you look at income of a football club, it comes from three places, doesn't it? It comes from your seat sales, which is your tickets, your match day income, your beers and your pies and whatnot. It comes from broadcasting revenue, which depends on where you finish in the league. If there's a derby on the weekend, they'll show your game. And then it comes from sponsorships, which is the thing on your shirt and little things like, you know, they stadium rent, naming rights and good stuff like that. And that was the traditional model of business for football. And that's how you generated your income. The problem is that when you then bring in income outside the football club, non-football income, this is where you get this monopoly situation, which we've had with Chelsea, with Man City, with PSG. And the problem is, at the end of the day, the average football fan is going to lose interest because it's not a competition anymore. The problem is, it's not fair, is it? It's not fair.
It's a Super League, right? Yeah.
Huh? But is football really enjoyable these days? I don't think so anymore.
I think because of that, though. That's my whole point.
Yeah, exactly. Look at teams like Nottingham Forest. Like, they can spend about 150, 180 million pounds and turn into a club that's like going to be, like, I don't know, finishing maybe just below the top half of the table if they're lucky. Like, they're doing quite well. They won earlier a few days ago, but you know, normally Forest wouldn't be able to spend that much money just because. So basically, it's all about who's got the biggest, which team's got the biggest owners, and they will basically lead.
But you know whose fault it is, Ricky? It's not Man City's fault. It is their fault for not putting their papers on the table, yes, but it's not their fault in terms of they didn't ruin the Premier League or ruin football or competition. The people that ruined the Premier League is the FA and UEFA, because they set the boundaries in the beginning to say this is what you cannot do. The fit and proper test only came in after Man City and a couple of other acquisitions. Where was that before? Why are we opening the gates to this business without doing proper checks? Would you sell your home to somebody without checking financially if they could buy your home before you even sell it to them? So the thing is, the Premier League, the reason they've done this, and this is my view on it, and I might be completely wrong, they want the best players here because they want to grow this brand. They want to export this product all over the world, and they can only do it with the best players in this league. If they don't do it, then they're not going to export the product. And the only way they're going to get the best players in this league is with corrupt money, quick money, easy money. And that's what Man City did. They bought in Aguero, they bought in Balotelli, they bought in Mancini, and suddenly the Premier League's being watched more now because now you've got four people fighting for the title, not just Man United and Arsenal. Now you've got Chelsea, you've got City, now you've got Newcastle. So this is all about the Premier League product for me, and they just want to export this thing. And the guys in the suits in the City are loving it because as the Premier League grows and the product grows, guess who else gets a promotion and gets more money at the back of it.
Yeah, and therefore, if the Premiership are clever, they shouldn't cause Man City to be relegated. I mean, if we're guilty, I would want us to face the biggest punishment because they deserve it. But I'm talking from the perspective of the Premiership now. So if the Premiership are clever, they wouldn't want to get rid of a team like Man City to send them to the second, to the first division. Whatever you call it these days, the Championship.
I think there's a bigger problem here, though, Ricky. I think the other clubs, the other major elite European clubs, have been knocking on UEFA's door saying, stop that Premier League product getting any bigger. We can't have it getting any bigger. We're spending we spend in transfer windows 80% above most other leagues. About 60% above the Spanish league, 70% in billions. Yeah. If you look at it across the 10 years or 5 years since the Premier League's taken over all the other leagues, we've been smashing them in the transfer windows. The commercial income coming to the Premier League is mad. We've seen that with Sky and BT and what all these other networks, Fox and everyone's willing to pay. But the reason they let it happen is because they want the best players here. And the only way they're going to get the best players here is to let Man City be taken over by Sheikh and to let Newcastle be taken over by Sheikh. Because how the hell Man United can only buy 25 players. You can only have so many players in a squad. So there's a bigger problem here in football. There's a poison at the top. But Man City are now, the Premier League are looking at Man City now saying, shit, Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, Inter, Juve, they're all getting left behind the Premier League. We literally go to their leagues now and get their best players. We used to go in the Championship and you get the odd international player. Now it's the other way around. So
Do you not think it'll be? Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say there's an uneven balance in Europe, and this is more of a European issue than just a Premier League issue. But
I think if Man City win the title this season, it'll be very awkward. It'll be very, very awkward if Man City win the title this season. Until
I think you should drive it over to. I think you should drive it over to Liverpool. Just if you win it, just take it over, give it to someone. You'd be happy with that.
I think retrospective actions can be quite tricky because there's a situation last season where Everton, they're spending like mad, and there were FFP questions, and I think Leeds and one other team that were in the relegation zone, they were looking over that situation. So, and if you do retrospective action, if you hand over the titles to United and Liverpool, then that also potentially impacts Champions League places on those seasons and the rest of it. So it gets really messy. I think what they might do, if they are proven to be guilty, is give them points deduction, fines. But I think that's going to impact, and maybe transfer bans, and that's going to impact City because City's team, like for example Gundogan, KDB, they're getting old. The couple more seasons, maybe tops. How are they going to replace them? They might have to do a mad Chelsea thing, but even that's going to be out of the question now.
No, I agree. I look, at the end of the day, we're talking about Man City sort of, vanishing from the face of the earth. That's not going to happen. They're going to be there.
They will.
They're going to get a fine. They're going to get some points deduction. They'll definitely get some sort of transfer ban, whether that's 2, 3, 4 windows, who knows? And that's going to be their punishment. But they'll still be lurking about. At the end of the day, they'll be there.
When you look at Manchester United and Liverpool, the reason they still have commercial income, even though they might finish 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, is because they've got a business built over 50, 60, 70 years globally that still people keep buying the shirts, keep watching them and buying merchandise. Man City don't have that. They don't have that global fan base. They don't have the foundation. And this is the problem with Man City. If, let's just say, the worst happens, you get dock points, the sheikhs say we're out of here, everything changes for Man City. And you go back to 2010 on this graph when your commercial income was 20 million and now it's literally half your revenue. There's a problem there because where's that commercial income going to come from? Because if you're not winning and you haven't got the best players and you're sitting in 12th or 13th, that commercial income is going to go down, isn't it? Obviously, naturally.
I think we'll get another investor because we've got a lot of great infrastructure. We've got a brand new training ground, a new stadium. So I don't think we'll end up kind of vanishing. But if we do get found guilty, I think the sheikhs should move on, Pep should move on, and we should just get a new investor that's on genuine.
Well, in any other industry, if this crime, financial crime, this is right, these people should be arrested and put in jail. Why should football be treated any different? So
it's a bit like Mendy, like he's a rapist, he's in jail, like he's managed to like get a bail and stuff. Again, Greenwood, he's another one that's managed to get
money talks.
Money
does
talks.
talk, yeah.
They've got good lawyers, guys. I'm going to have to shoot here, but I think
let's call it actually because guys, we've done an hour. I just want to say thank you to everyone, G, VJ, Ricky, and Sultan. You guys, you are welcome anytime on this channel. Love your views, love your knowledge. If you ain't watched this, go back to the beginning. Ricky came in like Tyson Fury, and then we calmed him down. We took his gloves off, we gave him a massage, and we relaxed him out. And then Sultan came in like AJ, and then he's still like AJ, to be fair, Sultan. So we'll have to calm you down next time.
Yeah, I'll probably say this is the hardest thing I've ever done, in summary, because it's a hard day for a City fan. So apologies.
Good man for fronting it up.
If I've been a bit angry.
Good man fronting it up, yeah.
No worries,
I've only had 2 hours sleep as well because of lack of sleep due to children. So apologies.
No worries, man. How was your weekend anyways, mate? Everything else good?
Don't get me started.
we'll put it on a WhatsApp group, Josh. Guys,
Sultan, nice to meet you, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, lads.
See you guys. Later. Bye-bye.
Good night. God bless. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you on Sunday, 9 o'clock, live and direct. We've got 6 pundits in the house waiting. Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, maybe a Newcastle fan as well. I've got a West Ham fan lined up as well. So do join us on Sunday, 9 o'clock. We'll see you then. Until then, like, share, and subscribe. Come on. Let's get this show on the road. Share it with your friends and family. We'll see you on the next one.